Ill health queen invites new prime minister to Balmoral, official strips Sussexes title after Meghan's interview. Meghan Markle has dropped multiple revelations about her former life as a royal in the first episodes of her podcast, as well as during an interview with New York Magazine this week. With more bombshells expected in Prince Harry's upcoming memoir, should the Duke and Duchess of Sussex keep using their titles? It's time Meghan and Harry lose their titles. The couple is now snubbing the very institution from which they derive their power and celebrity. It's bizarre and damaging to the monarchy. The news that Her Majesty is even contemplating inviting her new Prime Minister to form a government, next week, at Balmoral instead of Buckingham Palace, tells you that our Queen is in frail health. A stranger to self-pity, the national super trooper would always be in the right place at the right time if she possibly could. Actually, the interview for New York Magazine's The Cut by Alison P. Davis is not always the helpful hagiography its subject may have counted on. "Your eye contact is good," says Meghan unsettlingly to Davis, "you're, like, looking into my soul." The journalist is not convinced it's a soul. More a carefully managed stage set in which the Suits star puts on a performance of effortless, arms wide open, relatable affectation. She smells calculation. Prince Harry, meanwhile, is increasingly relegated to a sweet bit part. Think buttons in Cinderella. Sometimes, Meghan's husband is glimpsed juggling through a window, or he is allowed to say a few lines which burnish the legend of his incredibly modest yet somehow vain and self-obsessed wife. A few things jump out. First, Meghan's grievances grow ever bolder and more extravagant, floating free of any observable reality. She claims that, had the Sussexes stayed in the UK, she'd never be able to do school pick-up and drop-off with Archie without a press pen of 40 people snapping pictures. Yet, Prince George and Princess Charlotte have been dropped off and picked up by their parents for several years without a single intrusive or unauthorized picture appearing in the papers. Meghan also impugns the British media, asking why she would share photos with the very people who are calling my children the N-word. When did that happen? Oh, never. What I would find troubling about this interview if I were Prince Charles or Prince William are the hints of emotional manipulation. Meghan points out, more than once, that nothing constrains her from speaking out, whether on her new, top-rating podcast, Archetypes, or in the wider media, about what she considers her dreadful treatment at the hands of the Windsors. But it takes a lot of effort to forgive. "I've really made an active effort, especially knowing that I can say anything," she says, her voice full of meaning. Meghan Markle's podcast Archetypes debuted on Spotify last week and quickly reached the top spot in the charts. During the 2 episodes now released, featuring Serena Williams and Mariah Carey, and during the course of an interview promoting the series, Meghan shared more details about her struggles within the royal family. Prince Harry's tell-all memoir, hoped to be released by Christmas, will also reportedly contain a slew of revelations unlikely to please his family. Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties 2 years ago to become financially independent and pursue other projects. To date, these have included books, show deals with Netflix and, most recently, Meghan's newly released podcast Archetypes on Spotify. The series' stated aim is to rip apart the boxes women have been placed into for generations. Until now, the palace has confined itself to the exquisitely lethal recollections may vary when responding to Meghan and Harry's hurtful accusations. How much longer can that keep 'em sweet strategy go on? It isn't working. For all her mushy yogic musings about forgiveness, the Duchess is a world-class grudge-bearer who has ostracized her own father, and now it looks like poor Prince Charles is getting the same treatment. I have been told by a reliable source that Harry is homesick in LA, but can't own up to the mistakes he's made for fear of upsetting his wife. Clearly, it's time the Sussexes lost their royal titles whose privileges they enjoy without the accompanying responsibilities and restraints. But who in the firm will have the courage to take on Meghan and her truth?